Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Excuse my eyeballs, they're still working. They're doing some stuff over there off to the side. My allergies are in overdrive. So, I would request that anyone wearing a hat take it off at this point, and we'll have a moment of silence for those that have been lost, and do the pledge of all phones and cell phones off and on.
Yeah, I would say so.
I was getting an earful, let me tell you.
I'm telling you, I bet you were. Okay, so if we'll all stand and get ready for the pledge. My phone's off. Over here. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, we have some things that we want to update you on this morning, that is going to be open to question and answers. So, well, hopefully answers. Oh, my goodness.
Who are you?
Good morning. I'm Catherine Lane, first Vice President of the Board.
I'm Jane Randall. I'm the Secretary of the Board.
Hi, I'm Roberta Brodeur. I'm one of the directors on the board.
He's not on the board, he's just hanging.
He's not on the board, but he's gonna be getting up. He'll be the first, that gives us our update on the gatehouse and what's going on with that, so everybody will be aware. So, Jimmy? You got it up there.
Oh, and the president is out of the country,
Oh,
but he'll be right back. Yeah, I mean, he's coming back. He was gone for the holidays. He will be back. He's coming back tomorrow, I think.
He's in Mexico playing with the grandkids.
Yeah, grandkids.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm just gonna give you all a brief update on the guard house there. I received notice the other day. They did receive a deposit. They submitted everything for the permits, and as everybody knows, Hernando County can drag their feet on permits. So we all know that. They're gonna be getting started on a few things in there that they can do without a permit, but the air conditioning was ordered, windows were ordered, all the materials are ordered for the guardhouse. So with that being said, like I said, it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months to get the permits for the electric and stuff like that. That's up to the county. That's not in our hands. We can't help that. But like I said, everything is ordered and ready to go. And this week, they're gonna start doing some of the interior stuffs, closets, stuff like that, working on the walls and things they can do without a permit, without us getting in trouble, which we don't want. So that's the latest I have right now as of today. That's pretty much everything. They have received their money, stuff is ordered, and everything's ready to go. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask me.
Who's they? You said they have received their money. Who's they?
The builder. The
Who's
builders.
builder?
The builder is, her name is Janine
Oh, I know
Davis.
they heard me.
Janine Davis. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I don't have the folder on me right now. But anyhow, they received their deposit before the holidays.
Sandy Lewis, you know one. I have all the questions, of course. No, I wasn't gonna ask you. Oh, how can you do the interior if you can't do the electric?
They could work on the interior. You have to remove stuff to get to the electric.
The stuff's all gone.
No, it's not all of it.
From what I can see, it was
Only
all ripped out.
the lower half, where all the
Oh.
mold was, they removed from 3 feet down to the floor and remove all the mold.
And they
and
removed
seal.
all the shelf, all
That's
the
done.
benches or whatever.
Yeah, everything
They
in there
removed
is,
all of
it's
that.
all hollowed out.
Okay,
But there is stuff that has to be run behind the walls.
like the electric,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's gonna be stuff done in there. Closets are being installed in the bathroom. They can do that without a permit. There's a lot of things
Can
they
they
can.
do plumbing?
No, not without a permit. But there's no
2 to 3
plumbing
months
to
before
really
we
be
can
done.
Do anything.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
The plumbing, you don't need a permit. Plumbing's already existing. It's there.
okay.
It's just,
just
you don't
asked
need
you
a permit for a toilet or a sink. I can go in and change a sink in anybody's house. And it doesn't require permits.
that. Okay, and you're not actually the person that's doing the work, correct?
I'm overseeing it.
Okay, and there's another gentleman, Ron,
Ron Rule.
and he has, he's insured.
Oh,
Have
yeah,
you seen his
insured and
his
bonded.
insurance papers?
Yeah, they're all,
He's
yeah,
bonded and all that. Could we see those too? Could you post those online?
you would have to speak to the vice president.
Could we
the
not
president.
see those too? Okay, thank you.
And I
Okay.
have the name of the builders are Cobra Custom Builders.
Yes,
That's the name of the company.
that's it, Cobra Custom.
And they're just supplying all the material.
And the labor, supplying.
And the labor.
Everything. They're doing it all. They're
What's
doing,
Ron Rule doing?
he's gonna be there working.
He's one of the laborers. He works
Oh,
for
for
them.
custom?
Yes.
Yes, he works for
Oh, I
them.
guess I
Yes.
didn't understand
So
that
he will
part.
be in there with a crew doing the work that he can do without a permit.
Okay,
Because we don't want to get fined or,
No.
because the county will be, believe me.
I thought Ron Rule, does he live here, right?
Yes,
I
he
thought he was
does.
retired then. He is
No.
not? Oh, okay. Maybe I don't know who he is.
He's just like me.
Does
a
anybody
senior.
know him? You do know him?
I do know him.
Okay.
Excellent worker.
All the applications for permits have been submitted to the county.
Everything is submitted. Plans, the plans were revised last week. They had to revise the plans and resubmit. So now we're just waiting, like I said, if anybody that has had anything done here on their property would know how the permits, how long they take. So we're hoping that this goes a little smoother and faster.
Is the same company applying for the electrical permit, or is that a separate permit, company?
They're taking care of everything.
Okay. I'm
We
done.
need to know who you are.
Oh, Frank McDowell, Unit 6. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. And I know you gave us the cost, but could you do that again?
Sandy. Got another one over here. Okay, I'll get her.
Sandy Lewis, Unit 1. I know you gave us the cost, but could you do that again?
I believe it was 53.9.
And we had to pay how much down?
I'm not sure because they handle that part of it. I'm just overseeing the job, so that would be a question for her.
Okay, I can ask you later then.
You can ask me later if you want.
Can I have that one? Thank you.
You brought it back to me.
I know.
Better get your steps in today.
That's right, I know.
Karen Sutliff, Unit 1. At the last board meeting, you had talked about something being stepped back so that the workers wouldn't have, can you explain that to me, please?
You mean as far as the railings and posts?
Yes, the posts.
Yes, they will be closer to the building. They're going to be moved in probably about 2 feet, closer to the
Okay, my question with that is,
guardhouse.
we come in with a unit fifth wheel, and we line up with those posts. And if you have that overhang and those posts are in further, you might have problems. You don't think so? Okay.
It's getting removed.
Oh, the overhang, okay, thank you.
That's
So
getting
much better
removed. That's
company.
all going to be, that's going to be removed, and the soffit on that side
On both sides.
is going to be shortened to about 8 inches. That way a truck or RV or whatever can come in, and there'll be more room in the whole driveway actually coming in. So we won't have to worry about like everybody being so close to each other.
Anybody else have any questions? Concerns?
And I did see a gate was down again yesterday, so
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm going to fix it.
Patty
Today.
Ritchie, Unit 4, when are they gonna take out that other building?
That they're gonna have to use temporarily while the construction's going on inside, because you can't have both inside. You're not allowed into a construction site
Okay,
when so they're gonna be using that temporarily while they're working in there. It's only gonna be about a 2-week project. So it's only gonna sit there for about 2 weeks from when they start everything with the permits.
mhm,
It'll be finished by then
okay.
and removed.
So it's two more.
Jerry Johnson, Unit 1. I was gonna be there 2 weeks, we're waiting on electric, it might take 3 or 4 months.
He said 2 weeks from the time we get the permits.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I'm
That's
sorry.
what I said.
Thank
So it's
you.
another.
And who are you?
I'm Jerry Johnson, Unit 1.
Thank you, Terry Johnson, Unit 1. Neighbor?
My name's Nancy LaShara, Unit 1. I live at the gate. So are you also in charge of the gates also?
I'm not in charge of the gates, but I do go out and repair them quite often.
So is the one going out on the right-hand side, is it broke?
That's a good question, because I drove through last night and it was up. The other one was down.
Okay, but I'm gonna be speaking to the gatehouse in just a few minutes. I got my update from Peter before I got here this morning. Okay?
But I will get there today and figure out what's going on. I'm gonna put the other one back up again. So.
I saw that one come down.
Well, soon enough, there's gonna be different gates there where they're gonna actually flex with hinges on them. So anybody that tries to drive through is gonna get a double slap.
So will,
Go one way and coming out the other way, they're getting slapped.
so will both sides be down 24 hours or?
No, only at night. I believe I was told 6 PM that the going out will be closed.
Then my question is, last week they were never closed. Is there a reason why?
I can't, I'm gonna find out today. I will find out today.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
You got one more. Frank McDowell, Unit 6. The electrical permit, is that a separate permit from the construction permit?
No, when you get a building
Oh,
permit,
it's all inclusive, okay,
yeah, everything is on there.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess you're all set. You can go back to your grandson. Thank you
Okay.
very much. He has a
Have a
brand
good
new
day.
grandbaby.
Ooh,
Beautiful, beautiful,
First time.
beautiful. Yes. first
Right,
time.
I can see it.
Thank you. Going to get them.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Joe. I don't want this one. Yeah. Okay, I got an update from Peter on the gatehouse and what's going on there. Like Jimmy said, they're gonna keep the small building because they're gonna need it for the workers to go back and forth as they're in there doing the renovations. When they're not in there, the workers will be back in there, in the actual gatehouse. It will be open at the outbound gates will be open all day during the day. They will close at 5:30 at night, reopen at 6 o'clock in the morning. I might have that backwards, but that's when they'll be closed down. All of the barcodes are working, all of the gates were working. The one that's broken, like Jimmy said, he's gonna go over and fix, but everything seems to be going very well up there. And the reason why the gates were open all last week is because they had to do more work to the pole that comes up out of the, I don't understand all of this stuff, but it comes up out of the ground, and in order to be able to have some flex pad take us, they had to fix something out of them, so. At any rate, I do know that they're all working right now except for the one that just broke, and they said that that's due to, rusted. They really didn't want to replace a whole lot of the gears because the new gates will be coming. So I think that that's what that was about, so. But Peter said everything is up and running and he's putting in a new home in the park this morning, so he's not here. So if you have any questions, he said he's open to answering any of them, so just let him know. Okay?
I have a question.
Okay.
If we close the gate at 6 o'clock at night.
Hey, here you
I don't know.
All right, I'm getting my steps. I do.
Linda Casal, I don't know what unit I live in. If they close the gate at 6 o'clock, how do visitors get out?
Oh, but put it closer, please. We still can't hear.
Linda Casal. If they close the gate at 6 o'clock, how do visitors get out? I'm a newbie.
Okay, So when they close, they have what they call a flex pad down on the ground now. And when the vehicle goes over it, it will automatically open that side. So you can go out either side. It doesn't matter anymore. You don't need your barcode to get out, but probably a good idea if you're, you know. So, but I do know that that's what's going on with that. And I also know that when they have events like bingo, dances, social club, whatever's going on, they're gonna leave those gates open, so when the event closes, they just open for people to free flow out. So that's the only time they'll be open like that. Any other questions?
Carolyn Hyde, Unit 3. When people are leaving, does it register somewhere that they've left? In other words, when they come in, you know they're coming in, you have a record of that. Do you have a record of them leaving?
There's availability to use that, but they don't use it.
I had that before.
In the beginning, they were supposed to do that. When that new thing came in, they were supposed to be able to know who was here, who was not. So if somebody came to visit, they could see that that person isn't there at their residence, so they couldn't go in anyway, but they never used that ability.
Well, I know that somebody talked about having a camera that does a flash shot of the license plates when they're leaving. And if there's not a problem, I believe that they clear out in 48 hours? So I'm not sure if that's gonna still go in, but that's what I was informed of. It'll do a flash shot of the license plate, therefore if there is an issue, we'll at least know who's out of the park and then who's in it.
And you can tell when people left. And sometimes, maybe a few weeks later, maybe law enforcement or somebody would come in and we're looking for someone and we would have to pull that up. And we were able to show them, you know, the times they were in and when, if they left.
Okay, you're welcome, thank you. Anybody else?
I'm just gonna get you your own mic. I think I.
So Sandy Lewis, Unit 1, is that always been the norm? Like when there's dances and there's bingo, that the gates were automatically left up? When I moved here 4 years ago, when you left, if you didn't go through the barcode lane, you went to the visitors lane, there was a person from the guardhouse that was out there to watch and lifted the gate. Are we doing away with that?
I don't believe that that's. Go ahead.
They did away with that long ago. There used to be papers.
Well, not
given.
until the gates all started breaking. That's when they did away with it. I've only been here 4 years, so it's not long ago.
It's probably,
Probably
they were
better.
still doing it when you got here?
No, they were
They
doing
were
it when
still-
I got here, yes.
Oh, okay.
I would say within the last, because ever since the gates started breaking and not
Oh.
working correctly. When my brother-in-law used to come and visit and he would have to register and get a little piece of
You got the
paper.
paper, that's
And when
right.
he left, he had to stop and hand it
Right.
back out.
And then they discontinued those.
Why? I know they did because of COVID, but COVID's gone. You know what I mean? Hello.
I can't answer why they stopped, but I guess they felt that they weren't tracking anything. It was just a paper. They weren't tracking.
Well, it had numbers on it.
Who had, but
Who
they
had what
weren't,
number?
but they weren't giving a sign, the person that got the paper, they weren't making note of who was assigned that paper. It was just a paper. They gave them and a number, but they weren't assigning it, they weren't making note of the number paper they had given that particular person. So it was.
Okay, so the gates that are going
How long
out
have you
are
been?
not secure.
I mean, they did long ago.
They're just gonna be
Long
wide
ago
open
they
when
did.
we have
At some
outsiders
point.
in. And away they go.
Training, whatever, they just did away with it.
So will that cut down on man hours for the guard check then? Manpower?
I believe that will be something that will show at some point.
Okay. Just wondering.
We are good.
She jumped in ahead of me. Sorry.
Vivian Blair, Unit 4. My question is about Gate Century. We got an email from the office and it said Gate Century is welcoming you. I have a list of my visitors and my vendors. Is that something that we're gonna have to reissue or is that still in effect? My question, do I have to reissue all these things?
Not that we've been notified of, no.
Because they said there's a new system coming in, you have to talk to the office with,
We will get a new system. What we've been told right now is that they will forward that information themselves. They will link it into the new system.
okay, so I don't have to make up a new list or
At this
re-enter
moment-
all over again.
At this moment, no. We've been told no.
Okay.
But it's not in stone, that part, so.
Nothing is. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so I have a couple of things that I need to report on. One of them is, wait a minute.
I just realized I didn't have my mic. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I have to report on the chairs. I know that a lot of people were at the workshop. The chairs were donated by the social club, and there was some difficulties with the delivery of them. They are going to be delivered. I just got a call from Alexander, which is the young man that we've been handling the chairs with. He got the wire this morning for the money. He is going to call me with the tracking number this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning, whenever he has it done. I'm gonna make sure Vince has that and whoever else powers it need to be has those things. And they're supposed to be here by Wednesday or Thursday. So at that point, we'll have brand new chairs for any social events that are going on in the clubhouse. But there has been some hiccups along the way. So if anybody hears about hiccups, please come by me and I'll try to answer your questions as I can. Okay? Very good.
Anybody else have anything? Nothing? Okay. Okay, so at this point, we'll open it up for Q&A. I mean, you guys are welcome to come up and ask us any questions or just open a dialogue.
Come on up. Can I ask you a question?
Well, you're gonna have to come up here to ask the question.
Okay.
You can form the line over here and you can ask your questions, okay? That sound good? Good. Okay.
My name is Ed Markham. Is this on?
Nope, it goes up. There you go.
My name is Ed Markham. I'm in Unit 3. Actually, I have two questions. I'm going to cheat a little bit. The relationship we have with the county of Orlando. I've been here since 2016. My taxes have doubled. I have really never seen any activity in here that I could attribute to say that, wow, that was Hernando County that done that. I've called several times regarding another issue I have with water, and I was basically treated by Hernando County like a second citizen. Like your divorced husband or your divorced wife, you just don't talk to them, and when you do, the answers are short, curt, and I'll have nothing to do with you. And that was what I got from Hernando County. Can someone explain that I'm wrong in expecting something from them? Or do we have some kind of a special relationship with them that we are last on the list to get our garbage picked up, like the storm damage and all this other stuff? Could someone explain that relationship?
I can explain the relationship. Am I happy with it? No, I'm not. But the relationship is, and I think Vince can speak to this as well. The reason why we had to rent a chipper and have people volunteer to be able to get rid of the debris in here is because Hernando County was very clear about the fact that due to the fact that we are privately owned, we're on the last of the list. We get bumped right down to the very last of the list. All of our roads are private, so we're on the bottom of the list. So whenever they get to us, they get to us, if they have the time to get to us. That's what we're being told. Vince, am I correct?
Well, there's other issues with this last two storms because of the fact that the west side of 19 got hit very, very hard. Okay, and they had to take care of that to get the businesses up and running and stuff like that. They were moving inland, but if you go down Wisconsin, there's still a lot of debris in the areas. And I mean, I was on the phone with this guy for almost 2 weeks every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. When are you guys coming in? Give me the number. I need to talk to this guy. Next thing I know, they're coming to the gate. So, and I'm in the middle of chipping. So, there was no forewarning of anything. So I returned the chipper, and everything got picked up. So it's just a matter of yes, I agree with you that the county, since we are a private community, our roads are not public. Okay, so that's, if we had public roads, we would have them, our tax dollar work more for us.
Well, my tax dollars have doubled since 2016, more than double. And I just feel that maybe if we're private and they're gonna be treating us like second-class citizens, why don't we get some of that tax money instead of it going to them? Like, what is that about? I mean, when I call the guy and the guy says, oh, you're a private community, I ain't gonna deal with you. You got a land issue, and you and I talked about it. You got a land issue, and somebody's water's running over, that's your problem. You're in a private community, you deal with it there. They don't want to deal with us. So if they don't want to deal with us, why are we paying them taxes at the rate we're paying them? I mean, they could spend money a hell of a lot faster than I could spend it. I mean, the rate of inflation I know went up, but for your taxes to double from 2016 to 2024, hello? I mean, somebody's blowing it out the window. But that's my complaint on that. And now, and our only issue is we cannot talk back to them, right? Or we're in trouble.
Actually, anybody that wants to, I have the legislators that we deal with in this area, that we have a mayor that is right downtown Brooksville. We have several people that anybody can go talk to and voice their concerns. You can go right, I have an email listing, the governor, the senator, you can go right straight up to the listing. Is it gonna do you any good? I have no idea, but at least your voice will be heard. You'll be out there, and I'm not sure if it would make a difference, because they do say we're private roads, we're a private entity.
I will get that name from you. I'm not afraid to call somebody.
Well, me neither.
The only thing the county really serves is their storm drains. They're actually not storm drains. They're sanitary sewer drains that are in the middle, going down the boulevard. So all these manholes that you have around here, they're all sanitary. There's no storm.
Yeah.
So all the storms are along, and then all go into retention ponds.
Yeah.
So, but like on the boulevard, a couple months ago, we had a couple depressions along the boulevard where you had a water leak on one, and then actually the manhole itself was leaking at the bottom. So when we have these torrential rains come through and the water table starts to rise, okay, it starts eroding. It starts, if there's any leaks in there, it's going to start eroding everything to where the leak is going to. That's why we just got done paving, and 3 weeks later, after they paved, we started having a lot of rains. There was a depression. They had to come out and fix it right away.
Well, I understand the sewage system that we have to have, and we do not have any stormwater system. But I'm only talking in relationship to Hernando County that I called down there, and I tell them I'm from Brookridge. And then you can almost feel the guy on the other end bristling and say, like, you're a private community. What are you calling me for? Like, you just call your people and they'll take care of everything. We don't do nothing. That was my impression of what they were. But I'll get the name of the councilman. I'll rag on him.
Okay.
And my second issue is property complaints. And I apologize. I tried to call you this morning. I put in a complaint last April regarding water erosion on my property. And I haven't heard anything about that complaint. You visited my house, 8203 Ridgedale. The ruts are twice as deep as they were last year. I got a oak tree on my property that's likely 12 feet in circumference, and the roots are now 6 inches out of the ground because the ground is being eroded around them. And the water's still coming through. The other day, it comes swishing through there, and I had enough garbage on my grass that I had to go and rake it off because it's killing it, the little bit that is there. So happens to car complaints? Somebody tell me, I put a complaint in, is there a process where it gets logged, gets answered? Because this is 6 months.
Okay, so it was April of this year that you put in the complaint.
Yes, it did.
Oh, last year, I'm sorry.
24.
Hey, I'm not in 2025 yet, people. I'm gonna stay right back there for a little while. Okay, so 2024, I'm sorry. Okay, got it. Vince, a logged in complaint about property goes to,
Millie was supposed to take care of that.
I remember going and looking at that property with you, and I also remember having a couple of conversations, but there was no follow-up to that. So I'm gonna apologize for that because I was under the assumption that it was already completed.
No,
But-
well, that's, you're talking about the driveway?
The driveway
that's
was
not-
completed, that's not this.
That's not his.
This is something else totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so Millie and you got together.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let me do some follow-up to that and see what I can find out for you. I'll work with Vince and we'll figure out what can take place. And I apologize for it taking so long. Had I known about it, would have been
He
doing
lives,
something, I
he
hope.
lives at the bottom.
He lives at the bottom, where all of it comes together. Okay,
that way,
Okay.
but
well,
I don't mind lawn as long as something gets done.
okay,
Long is all right, but get it done, that I appreciate.
okay, very good.
He's got, 2 other properties before him.
That do what?
They're shedding the water.
They're shutting the water, okay. Thank you.
Joan Golick. I'm just up here to find out, follow-up on something we talked about the last meeting, going to the sheriff's office and checking on a forensic audit. Were you able to do that, Catherine?
I went to the sheriff's department. I don't know if you guys know this, but I volunteer over at the sheriff's department as well. What they said to me, they were very clear. If you have proof, not solid proof, but if you have a line of proof that shows there's a wrongful act, an illegal act, then you can bring that to us and we'll work with you on that. But we have nothing, we don't have a line, we don't have the proof yet. So we have to go through the auditor and a forensic auditing in order to be able to get that. And then they'll be involved.
You think that'll happen?
I do believe that it will happen, yes, we're working on that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how much I could cost them.
He wants to know something.
Hey,
Hey, that's what we're here for.
spending my money, I want to know what's going on.
Alan Blair 4, how much is this audit gonna cost the people? Or is it gonna cost Brookridge?
We are Brookridge. Yeah.
Correct.
It's our money
I was gonna say,
Out of the budget or out of your pocket?
out of our pocket. All of the money's out of our pocket.
it comes out, well, yeah, all of it comes out of your pocket, but I definitely know that just as soon as we have that price point, I know we're gonna go in chunks of space, timeframes, versus having, like, going back to 2006. We're just gonna have different spaces where there are things that we see a problem. We'll be taking those 6 months and doing it probably in 6 months chunks, as far as I know. And once we get the prices for those, you guys will all be aware of that before we even enact that and put it into place.
Do you really think you're gonna get this money back?
I believe that if it points a finger to someone, I believe that they will be prosecuted. I don't know whether or not monies will come back to Brookridge. I can't state to that. But I can tell you that the full board is behind the fact that they need to be prosecuted.
Well, you're trying to get back $130,000, and then it costs you $150,000, so you're a $280 in the hole that
Okay.
you're never gonna see. And if you do see it, it's gonna be restitution, and they can't afford to pay it, so you're gonna get $10 a month. So how long is that gonna take you to get your money back? Is it really worth it?
Oh, well, first of all, I don't believe that the forensic audit is gonna be 120. I believe that the fact that a forensic audit has been put out there, that it's gonna be an expenditure that's through the roof. We've done some checking into forensic audits, and the price isn't even gonna be, I mean, you're talking about $120,000. We're not even talking a quarter of that for the whole thing. So it's not as expensive as what was led to have been believed.
Well, this has been going on for at least 4 years. So they're gonna go back 4 years. You think they're gonna start charging you every time they do something? 4 years.
Correct.
They're not gonna do that for nothing.
Correct, but we have to have the audits completed and filed, making sure those are done and signed off on. Once all of those things are done, we'll be looking into putting the forensic audits in place.
We can't even get a regular audit, okay, from 22, 23. How do you expect to get a forensic audit and everything done?
Okay,
You
so
can't get anything.
I can't speak to the last 4 years that you just mentioned. I can't speak to that, but I can speak to you from this point forward. We are working towards a financial company to come in here and take the finances directly out of Brookridge. So we'll have our audits, we'll have our monthly statements, we'll have the connection, the liaison to the board will be the treasurer. I don't believe that, once the monetary pieces, I didn't touch it, Vince, I didn't touch it.
You can go home now.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Okay, I can't speak to them, but I can speak to Today Forward. We're working diligently on getting that finance company in here in order to be able to take the finances out of Brookridge's hands altogether. That way, somebody else is gonna be held responsible that has the license, that has the education, that has the knowledge, and they will be doing the financial piece to Brookridge.
What about the audits that we're waiting for?
The audits
I
that
mean,
you're
that
waiting
should be
for,
done, that should have been done within a couple months of when it was put in there. We're talking 2 years anyway.
they can only work with the information that they're giving. And when they're requesting information from the people that have the information and they're not getting it, we can't expect the auditing firm to give us something based on nothing.
Why can't we get the information from the people who are supposed to be giving the information? If they're not doing their job, my opinion is fire them and let's get going. You know, we're wasting time here is what we're doing.
Right, and
And money.
I believe that at this point.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Take it easy.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Now that there's different people involved, they've been very forthcoming in what they needed. We've given them what they needed. They have responded with audits. We're waiting for the final copy. We've signed off on their audit that they sent. We sent it back. We're waiting for the final draft. So we will now have audits. I thought,
All of them?
yeah,
All the
20,
way from 20, I think it was what, 21 or 22?
yes,
You're gonna have all those up to
Yes.
23.
yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes,
I'm glad you told us.
yeah.
Nobody knew.
Well, we don't have them in our hand yet, but we know, we saw the rough draft.
Yeah, but we heard that before and nothing ever came to pass.
Well, it will now. I
Okay.
can promise you that.
Oh, okay, I will be checking up on you.
I know that.
All right, thank you very much.
Sandy Lewis, Unit 1. I have a question. When I worked in an accounting office, and when we closed the books at the end of the year, the audit was done, and it had to be done before the taxes could be filed. So how has Brookridge been filing taxes without an audit? Big question. Have we been paying taxes?
Well,
What do you mean?
the-
You don't have the
the-
answer.
they
Excuse me?
do have, the books are closed and that's done.
They're
Now,
close, but the numbers are no good.
Well,
Because we can't get a final audit? I don't, how can you, filed taxes on wrong numbers.
Well, my response to that would be, how can you create a budget with a zero balance? You know, it's
Well,
not
yeah,
zero.
and I agree with you.
Okay,
I'm
so
on
a
your side
lot of
there.
the things that have been taking place have been misinformation, and I can't speak to what the past boards have done. The only thing I can do is tell you, like Jane said, they've been closed out, we've seen the final draft, we've worked diligently on getting them the information that they had never gotten. And once we get those final drafts, they'll be posted so everybody can see them on the website.
So have you seen like canceled checks or wire transfers or whatever to pay Brookridge's taxes? Have you seen those for the last 4 years since I've been here?
Well, I haven't personally seen
No,
them.
but I mean, how do we know they've been
I
paid?
guess that would be something we'd have to check into.
We have a CPA, right? We have a CPA that
We
does
do
our,
have a CPA, the CPA,
that information, like say January 15th, it goes to CPA. They do their thing.
Yeah.
We pay our taxes in April, okay? That
And then you get
information
a
from the
report back. I know, I
CPA,
used to do that for 7 different companies.
that
I know.
information from the CPA goes to the auditor. You understand?
Okay, the
And they
CPA
they audit the whole books from prior year. And that was supposed to be done by May,
Right, by May 15th.
because of the fact that it's when the general manager submits the budget to the finance committee in June.
we don't have any answers to that right now.
Okay, I have one more question, okay? I promise.
She has
another question. The money, imagine that. The money that was taken out of our Edward Jones, the Spectrum money, from what I understand, the 990,000 or whatever. I always thought that Edward Jones was an investment firm. They invested your money. It was taken out of there and it was put into a regular bank. And now we don't have to pay taxes on it. I'm a little confused on that.
It's not that we don't have to pay taxes on it, it's that Richard and Dave worked with Edward Jones, worked with Brennan. They came up with a plan, a course of action, because the way it was stipulated before, a lot of that money would have gone out for tax purposes. And so what they wound up coming up with, the money is now sitting in the reserves account, which is where it should have been. And we have tax breaks that we'll be able to utilize because of where it is now versus where it was before. That's why it was transitioned.
What do you mean where it is now? Where is it now? In Brennan Bank?
It's in Brennan Bank in our reserves account.
Okay, and what is the reserve account? 503C? What is it? Is it a non-taxable account? What is our reserve account? That we
Our
don't have
reserve
to-
account is just, it's where we complete like the gatehouse, the road work, some of the things that,
So it's just a regular bank account that we don't have to pay taxes on?
it's not a regular bank account. It is
Okay.
and I'd like to
What
have
is it?
Dave or Richard speak to that, but I
Okay.
can find out which it is.
Find
I
out
believe
what
that I've
it
heard
is.
Richard talk
Yeah.
about 50.
Because I've
I've
talked
not
to a
been
lot of
able to-
people and they want to do that too with their money, not have to
Okay,
pay
so
taxes.
I will
on it.
ask Richard that question, Sandy, and I'll get
Okay.
back to you.
All right.
So I think Richard said something about a 50.
Yeah,
Accounting is not my deal,
Yeah.
so, but I'll ask Richard,
all right.
okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. It is a lot of money, but it's safely tucked in Brennan Bank. A lot of that money, which is something that I've asked Roberta to help me do. We're gonna be working on old business, new business that never was brought back to life. There's a lot of money that was allocated out to different projects that was not completed, used, done, thought about, what have you. So all of that money and all of those things will be addressed. So that's what we're working on now. That's gonna be a piece of work. So. But thank you for that question. I'll get that info and I'll get back to you.
Hi, Marshall Shetland, Unit 2, just my own opinion. I'm really disappointed about the entrance into Brookridge now. I think it's just so tacky, low class. Stop here, slow here, stop here. slow here. You got one big stop sign and then 2 feet more, another big stop sign. If residents of Brookridge cannot drive, stop at a sign and go, I just think it, to have people come in and have to look at that, I think is so tacky.
We agree, but we're trying, how else to try to prevent the gate to constantly get knocked down by residents?
Hit them in their pocket, make them pay
We're doing that.
to have it repaired.
It's not the
Fine them
same
100.
person
I
that
know,
keeps
I
doing
know.
it.
Yeah, and
There's
then add
just-
another fine on top of that.
There's just,
That's just another fine.
Do you really think
it's,
that the people that are
we don't like it either.
speeding are going to pay any attention? To stick a cone with it slow is so
We
tacky
agree.
to have people come in to
We
visit
absolutely
me.
agree.
So,
But right now, we can't think of what else
Yeah.
to deter, to try to bring attention
yeah,
to people that are coming in and looking at their cell phones,
yeah.
in a rush, talking on the phone, whatever they're doing, that they don't pay attention to the
I
gate.
know. Maybe when the new gatehouse is up, if we could start fresh and see if, I don't know, it's just my opinion, I just don't like it.
When the new gate comes in, we're hoping that that's going to have better signals on it. We don't know. Maybe a little higher. We've talked about a lot of different things with the gate, trying to draw attention to the gate so that we don't have to do that constant, stop, slow down, all that.
I can tell you that when the gate was fixed, 22 minutes later, it was broken.
Right.
We had people out there repairing it. So that's the 2 stop signs. We're hoping that, God forbid, if they don't see the first one, they'll see the second one that is on that gate itself. And it's too bad that we have to get to that level, but like she said, we don't know what else to do. We can't, 22 minutes, and we're out there fixing it again. And now it's broken again. Correct. It winds up being broken all the time, so that's why we all looked into the ones that expand. They're on that, so that's why they said, you're gonna get a double whammy. Your car's gonna be the one that's gonna be hurt at that point. And we're not responsible for that because it says clearly, stop. If you don't stop and proceed when it lets you in, then that's gonna hit you on the way in and on the way out. So, scratches, dents, what have you, we're not gonna be responsible for that. There's a stop sign that will stop that. Okay? So sorry about the gate stuff, but, yes. Yeah.
All these monies that you have, I don't need that microphone. All these monies that you.
What's your name
All
and
these
unit
monies that
number?
you have, Robert Macros, Section 2, all these monies that we have, who has access to that money and how many signatures are needed to access that money?
We have 3 on all of the accounts except for 1, and that one we have 4. Now,
4 different people must sign to access
2.
that money.
2 people need to sign to access that money. We have 4 on the accounts, and no prior board members are on any account.
Right. You need at least 2 present.
Correct,
If one's not available, someone else will sign.
correct,
At least 2 signatures to access any of those funds.
correct. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the way it is too when a check goes out? They all know me.
Yes, you do.
Sandy Lewis, Unit 1. Is that the way it is when checks go out too, that it needs 2 signatures? Or is just one person able to sign? Say a check printed from the admin office to pay a bill, does it need 2 signatures?
That's a great question. Yes, it does.
I told you I worked.
I am down there every week signing checks, either on Friday, if something comes in during the meantime, Arlene and I have to sign off on all of those checks together. I have a listing, she keeps a listing, we have photocopies of all the checks. That was put into place just a short time ago. So yes, everything is all set. 2 and 2. In fact, I have a couple of checks with me that I have copies of, that if you want to see them, both of our signatures are on there. We put a line across, and both signed. Thank you.
Jerry Johnson, Unit 1. I've got some neighbors talking to me about this. At the sand on the street, they're all working with them outside here. There's a lot of dust coming into our community.
Can't hear you. I can hear you.
A lot of dust coming into our community because of the sand they're moving. Is there a way they can put water on that or what? I saw a big water truck down here, but yeah, and try to keep the dust down a little bit.
So Vince, can you speak to
That's,
that?
they're talking about the outside,
Yeah, I can.
where they're
Oh,
building.
you're talking about the developer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute more.
You've got one, you don't want me to answer that one first? Okay, I can tell you that the development committee has been working diligently with the development, the contractor over there and what have you. They've been in constant touch because there's been controlled burns over there and more sand coming all the time. So there are some allergens that are coming from the bottoms of the trees because of the mold issue. So a lot of the people have been at least informed. There's a lot of places that don't even inform the residents that those things are going on. But as far as the dirt, until they get that done, we had a sandstorm in here the other day. It looked like I was in Arizona. So, I mean, they're doing the best that they can with the water trucks over there as they can. But I'll let Tracy know. Okay.
Jerry Johnson, Unit 1. I got a neighbor that does a lot of walking. She says she's constantly picking up nails and screws out of the road and causing flat tires and stuff. What would the answer be to that? Cover the load as they drive out?
I don't know whether or not, I would imagine that that's the landscapers and all those people that are in here, contractors doing work.
Not landscapers as much as construction where they're tearing down walls and stuff like that.
So the construction people that are contractors that are doing work in here.
That's the first I've heard that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had a nail in my tire. I had to replace it like 4 months ago. I was sitting in the middle of the median waiting for AAA to come get me help. So I just have never been asked that question, but I guess we can look into that. I would imagine that they should be keeping them covered, or maybe in the backs of their trucks or something. I'm not sure. Let's look into that. Can we look into that, guys?
The nail doesn't fly, it just drops.
Right, so therefore it must be somewhere where it can drop from. But I did notice that there are some trailers that come in here with those contracting crews that are that mesh stuff. So if they've got nails and stuff back there, they are just gonna drop to the ground, so. Can you check into that? Yeah, so we'll get back to you. I love your question.
Sandy Lewis, Unit 1. So do we have like a street sweeper or something in here? Because I know we're private roads, but do you guys have a street
I
sweeper?
have a brush that fits on my mower, yeah. It's on there now.
Oh, it is. So maybe Terry's street needs to be swept. I don't know.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it go by my house, and everything goes by my
I didn't even
house.
know we had one.
I didn't either.
Now I
Where's
know
your
we
house
have
at?
one.
Midfield.
Never seen it. Has anyone?
Has anybody seen it?
I went down there, I went down almost every street here when we had, after the storm,
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
to control all the debris that was in the middle of the room, so, in there. I pretty much hit every street. That's why it's still on there.
You know-
There's a lot of nails and stuff in the street, you sweep it up.
I haven't seen any.
But as you're sweeping, is that just sweeping them?
I'm just sweeping right into the boulevard, right
Okay,
into the median.
okay,
I haven't seen that. I don't know. I haven't seen any nails,
okay.
you know. When I'm riding a gator, I haven't got anything.
I didn't even know we had one.
I know, right? I learned all this good. Jared Kraft, Unit 1. I have concerns about people that have been on the board previously, and now we're dealing with this finance thing and the rumors of money missing. Is there anything in play, or will anything be in play to protect us from those people being on the board again and being near the money? And my second question is, what's the deal with the news and views? It's never out on time. Thank you.
Put Sandy on the board.
News and views will be out, the 13th. News and views will be here the 13th.
The 13th?
Printer had a problem, and they were closed from the 15th of December to the 31st.
We're no
So
more happier with
nobody's happy.
past
I just found out this morning.
people being on the board that it's been felt that they have done detrimental things for Brookridge. But our attorney has, right now, the way it's written, they are allowed to be on the board. But it is up to the board as to what capacity, what their assigned duties are. And that's as much responsibility as we are able to take on the positions.
She's being nice. I just want to answer your, she's being diplomatic. That's very cool. The thing is that I can't stress enough. Past board members put their application, resume, whatever you want to call it, into the ring. You guys are the ones that vote them in or don't. So if you sign on the dotted line and they wind up back on the board, although we can do what we can do in order to be able to ensure the safety, there's nothing we can do if they get on the board. They're on the board. A director's position would probably be the best, but hopefully those things won't happen in the future. And I do know that I've been signing the checks for the printer. We're looking into other options for the news and views because no, and I continually get told that until it's completed and we sign the check, they're not releasing the news and views. Is that correct?
The news and views is put together at Print Shack.
Correct.
It's actually printed down in Newport Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
The printing company, the printer,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they had damage from the flood. That had to be, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Really?
That's what we heard. They had a lot of damage from the flood, and then they were closed during the Christmas holiday. We did not know, neither did Print Shack, know the time that they would be closed during Christmas, and therefore it is running late. I do know that Jen, I'm in contact with her every day. I know that she's in contact with the printing company every day because she's really on them to get it out as soon as possible.
Can they put it online at least? So people can.
The file should have gone to Arlene today so that it could go online. It should, yeah. It should have gone to her. I mean, it went to print before Christmas. So, I mean,
So in the future, we can expect it on the contract.
what I will do is I will ask, Jen today that we have the file before the first day of the next month so that it can be put on our system on the first day of the month. Would that be okay?
When we get them printer, say the hell with this one.
Well, there are just not a lot of them out there. That's the
There's
problem.
gotta be some of them out there.
I understand, believe me, I do understand. As far as it not being in color, we can go back to black and white, but you're not gonna,
We don't need all those ads.
You're not gonna get the funds,
We don't need all those ads.
because a lot of people do it because it is color.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Brookridge
The ads-
does not pay.
The ads in the news and views are what pays for the printing. They probably want color, correct?
Yes, right, yeah.
How much do we make on those reviews?
May.
How much does it cost and how much do we net?
I can't tell you what we net for 24, I can tell you what the total income that I took in, but that's not the bottom number. Do you want that number? Sure.
How much we actually
Why
get?
is there a budget? Why do we have a budget?
This is getting into the much and mire of what.
Right, what everything is. I mean, people want to know.
You do too.
Oh, I know.
Okay, here's what I took in, here's what the cost was, that's what we took in, but that's not the bottom number.
Okay, so I'm looking at $76,096 as what was taken in. $52,531.74, which is what it was paid out. And then $22,319.76, but that's not the final number. So that's what Brookridge took in.
Is that for the year?
That's for the year. $22,319.76 for
Where
the
does
year.
that go?
Where does it
Where
go?
does it go?
What account does it go into?
Other
They
income,
go into reserves or?
other income.
It goes into other income because this is other income.
What is it used for?
But after my. after
Operating.
my-
Operating,
Payroll.
Everything?
Correct.
operating.
She gets paid out of that, so,
Well, my payroll, some of my payroll goes towards this, correct, Vince?
It just goes in, it goes into the operating
Into
account.
that, yeah.
okay.
But I mean, after they deduct, like, what it cost us to do it, yeah, then the $22,000 is what we cleared off on the top line. Does that make sense? No?
Yeah, for the lines.
I don't know that number, I'm sorry. I only know what I billed and what I actually took in. Not me.
Where's the treasurer? We don't have a treasurer right now. Sorry.
Does the supervisor not know the number?
I don't know.
Well, Arlene should know the number.
Are you the supervisor?
She pays the money out.
Okay,
Of
I have
what?
another question.
Her, of the building? Of
What do you want to know? Do you want to know the bottom number or the actual, you want me to tell you the actual number of what Brookridge made, minus total expenses?
Yeah.
Probably about $500,
500.
That's not even realistic.
Really?
because of the fact that she's taking in money from ads, okay? Her 3/4 of her paycheck goes towards putting the views together, okay? So you have to take 3/4 of her pay off of that 22 grand.
Right.
So what do you think is left over? If you want to go nitpicky with what's going, how you associate your return on your investment, you take all your expenses off what you took in. You paid $52,000 to have it printed. Okay? You took in $78,000 to do it, you left over 22 something, right? But you got to put all your expenses towards that top number to get your actual number, and I don't have that number.
Right. You wouldn't have privy to that knowledge anyways.
Right, I wouldn't even have courtesy to knowledge. Yeah.
None of your business.
That's so.
Well, he shouldn't know it. None of his business.
Okay, we all separate now?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Patrona. My backup question is, now that we know it's not gonna be out to the 15th, there's events going on. What's that? Oh, there's events going on, jingles, for example, other things, social hours. Monday night, can we get an email going out to let people know that the news and views is gonna be delayed and what's going on? So we can be informed at least?
Also, Today, the file's going down to Arlene to be put on our website. So you can also look on the website, it will be there. You can go to our
If it-
website and
Petrona?
the whole book's gonna be there.
If it was me, once Jen sends the final copy to the printer, she gets the digital copy, right?
Yes,
She should send it to you and they should put it on the website immediately when she
I
receives
will
it.
call down, I will call,
That way, the next month is already sitting there, people can plan on it sometime in December.
yes. That's perfect. Yeah.
They shouldn't have to wait till the first of the month, it should already be up there prior to the month even arriving.
Okay, so what we'll do, in order to be able to take care of that, once the printer gives you the copy, so you can send it, right, so you can send it to Arlene, I'll talk to Arlene, no.
The printer sends it to Arlene. I do not get a digital copy on my computer.
Okay, then I'll talk to Arlene, because once she has it, we'll talk to her about making sure it goes to the website, and then a push email to the residents to know when it's actually gonna be out in hard copy, and that they can access it on the web. Thank you.
I have something. He's been waiting.
He's been waiting.
Yeah, okay. This is going back to the outbound gates. Mark Whitley, regarding the outbound gates in the dark, the left-hand gate is brightly lit, red lights, and also has reflectors on the bar. The right-hand gate has neither and is almost impossible to see. We'll let Peter know something needs to be done about that.
Who was first? You guys want to duke it out? There you go, hurry up. Hurry up.
All right. Terry Johnson, Unit 1. This news review, we're just putting a Band-Aid on it. We're not fixing anything. It's going on and on and on and on. So we're gonna email now. That didn't fix the printing problem. Why don't we just fix the problem? The problem is, with the printer, there aren't any printer in the world. Let's go to another printer. Let's fix it. Putting a Band-Aid on it sucks. It's gonna be month after month. It has been for how many months now? I don't know who's fault. Let's get somebody that can do something, not just send an email out and that fixes the problem. That's not right. That's not right.
How about you find us,
Okay,
Research.
we'll have to do that.
you take it upon yourself and find us a new printer.
Do I look like I'm on the board?
They're
We
working
can
as hard
use all
as
the
they
help we
can.
can get, though.
I can tell you, Terry, I'm gonna speak to what you just said. This board represents you all, the whole, every resident in here. Why can't you help the board do something? We are like on stress load over here. We have finances to do, all of these other things. I would welcome somebody to come help me track down printers. Look for somebody that can help out with that. Anybody that wants to volunteer to help the board do anything, I am like an open door. Just come.
What are you gonna do for the board?
Stop me in the middle of the track somewhere.
What are you gonna do for the board?
Hey. Easy. We've gotten it, we heard it, and we're just gonna move on. So if you want to help me, I would love that. Thank you, Terry.
Last spring, I attended a meeting here and they discussed a management company. And discussion was going on and I went home and I kind of lost it. Could someone update me or all of us of what was the outcome of hiring a management company versus what we're doing right now?
I don't believe that we ever talked about a management company. I believe we talked about a financial company coming in. And they were gonna take all of the finances out of Brookridge. There's been difficulties with the finances for years. So what a finance company will do was take it out of our hands in here, so we're the ones overseeing it. That way the audits, the every month statements, everything will be on time It'll be done in a professional manner. So therefore, that's what we were looking into. We do have, I believe there are 6. There are either 6 or 7. We're looking into references for each company now, because those are the ones that we got down to. And once we get the top 2, we're gonna bring them back to you guys for your Q&A, so you can talk to them and see which ones you like the best.
I was at the meeting, and what I heard was a management company coming in and taking over from.
I have no idea.
That's a thing in the past.
Correct.
And that was voted, that was voted
Oh,
down.
that was voted down.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so the management company piece was voted down, but the finance company piece is going through, yes. To my knowledge, anyway.
I thought we had a finance company.
Wait a minute, I got one back here. Hang on, I'll be back.
Again, well,
Yes.
Vivian Blair, Unit 4. My question is, I think it's a terrific idea to get the finance company in here, because we're just too big for, it's a good idea. My question is, how much is it gonna cost us? How is this gonna affect our bottom line? I know you can't tell me exactly, but.
I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you that is the price that we pay for a bookkeeper in here, which I believe we're looking at both different sides, having a bookkeeper on site and not having a bookkeeper on site. And what we pay for a bookkeeper, according to the ones that we have today, pretty much covers what it's gonna cost us to have that finance company in here. Once we get rid of a couple of other things, it's comparable to just having the bookkeeper on site, pretty much.
We won't have her on site anymore, no more bookkeeper on site.
Depending upon which one you guys decide to go with. We have a couple of companies that have bookkeepers that they'll leave our bookkeeper. Well,
The one
they're
that's
their
here now is
bookkeepers.
gonna be gone?
Correct. Well, she won't have a bookkeeping status. Correct, to my knowledge, unless they decide they want to keep her on there and work with her. Correct.
We're gonna
So
have extra people in the office again.
Not extra people, no.
But if you give her another position and then bring someone else in, that's another person.
Okay, but all of those things are being looked at. What we want to do first is figure out which finance company is going to be the best for all of you. And we want to bring the 2 of them here, and then you guys can ask your questions. Okay.
I thought you were moving one out and bringing one in, but if you bring this in and keep this one, you're paying double.
Okay, but there's two different sides to that. You can look at a finance company and keep an on-site bookkeeper, which we can do. Or you can look at a finance company, have an on-site bookkeeper a couple of days a week, and then they're back at their place. That would be their person. So those are the 2 different.
Well, that would be better than keeping someone that we already have now, that anyone that was there, is get rid of them because they're not doing the job. That's why you're trying to get a financial setup. You're gonna be paying twice, in my opinion.
Okay, I don't believe that we're gonna be paying twice. What we're gonna do is bring all that information to you once we have it. Right now, we're working on researching the companies that we've chosen. And then we'll bring the top 2 to you guys and you can ask all these questions. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Okay, who's that? Wait a minute, I got this lady over here.
I just thought we'd already.
Sandy Lewis, I thought you'd already decided on which 2 companies were gonna come and do a presentation to us. 'Cause when's the finance company coming?
Well, we're hopeful that they'll be in here by the 1st of February. Dave's coming back from Mexico. We have all kinds of different things set up. I've already contacted a few of the companies and checked out their references. So once the references are all done, we'll get back together, discuss which the 2 top 2 are, and then I would imagine that's the plan. Each one of them that we've talked to, they're saying it's gonna be snug to do the 1st of February, but they're looking at least 14 days that they're gonna need, maybe 3 weeks, so we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. But I think that it would be not in our best interest not to check out their references first.
Are we voting on that, or are you people voting on that?
They'll be in front of you, and
Are we
then
gonna have a vote for the whole community, or?
on a finance company, no, no,
Oh, it's just you people that are gonna accept them?
correct. It'll be the board that
One
makes
of
the
2.
decision. One
So
of
it's
2.
just you people, it's not us.
It will be you that are asking the questions and answers.
That isn't what I asked you.
The-
You're gonna say yes, that they're coming in, we don't have a vote.
No, we're not sending a ballot out for that, no.
Okay, so that's just you guys that are doing this, right?
Correct.
That's for sure. Okay.
We're gonna get the feelings from the community as you ask your questions and get the answers. We're gonna be judging on that, which one gets picked. Like, we're not just, willy-nilly,
No,
but we can only have like 2 come in to speak, to spend the time to be asked questions.
You have the final say, the people do not.
We
That's
are
all-
the-
that the end, is that?
We are the
We are the
people.
people.
We're representing you.
But what if we don't want it?
You don't want a finance committee at
I'm
all?
just saying,
Finance
I'm
company?
only a person of one.
Right.
There's how many people in this place?
The finance company situation is definitely happening. The companies that situation is happening. Which
On
one?
your vote, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, but we're trying our best to represent
That's
everyone.
okay, I got my answer. Thank you.
I only have one question.
Okay.
Is the lot rent going
No. The lot rate's been stabilized at $50 until next year. You guys will be voting next year on it.
Jared Craft, Unit 1. I have a question. Richard said at the last meeting, he was talking about the finances, and there was some talk about sending letters out to people that trying to get information. A few years ago, letters went out to people. We were looking to get some information back, and we never got it. So are we not sending letters out if we don't get our information? Are we looking back at that to be cautious? Are there things still out there that have not been returned? As far as the books and finance records. So if we can't get the information, what do? Do we just leave it hanging?
I believe I know what letter you're talking about. Are you talking about the letters that the lawyer has sent out to previous treasurers? Okay, we did talk about that. I don't know whether or not that has been addressed to the attorney. I don't know the answer to that, but I can find that out for you. I do know that it's costly to get an attorney to send a letter out to somebody to be told that they don't have anything, and we can't prove that they do.
And we're still dealing with the possibility of this person.
I don't believe that, like I said, right now, the way it is, that may be something that will have to be voted on. We'll have to change the bylaw in here in order to be able to stipulate that anyone that's done any wrongful doing to Brookridge, if somebody wants to get together some sort of question that could be asked on a ballot, I believe that we would be all good with that. So yeah, if anybody wants to work on a question that formulates or somehow it can be stipulated differently, we were looking to put people on a bylaw committee in order to be able to update that. So we're doing that because we had one person that came forward, that was it. So he's being helpful, so I'll continue to work with him. But nobody else has come forward for the rules and regs or any of the other committees. So if anybody wants to help out with any of those committees, we would love to have the resumes at the office. We're just gonna leave it open-ended for people that, would like to be able to come in, so.
Jerry Johnson, Unit 1. Excuse me. Talk about the election coming up. There's not gonna be an election, is there?
No.
Those 2 vacancies are already appointed. They know what's going on, right?
There's actually 5 vacancies and there's 5 resumes.
Okay.
So, yes.
So when was the closing time for resumes we put in?
And they didn't, they were requested to extend it, but the extension was denied.
It's over and done with.
Good.
They
Okay.
can't find people. There's not much we can do about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Peggy Justice, Unit 3. We talked at the last meeting about checking on Brandon Bay to see how much they insure. They said they had a letter, Richard said he got a letter that they will insure more than the, whatever it is, 20,000. Right, yeah.
Yeah, he has a big, we have to, yeah.
He does have to send a letter.
Yes, but okay.
But we were gonna check with another company or something to make sure that that was legitimate, that that really, not just the bank manager saying, oh yeah, we'll cover that.
We're talking about, okay.
So Brennan Bank, I know that Richard worked on that. He was working on that piece and he'll have that information by the next board meeting. He wasn't here today. He already had a previous engagement, so he wasn't able to come today, but he'll have that at the next board meeting. Okay? Anybody else? No other questions? No other-
Sandy, nothing else?
Right.
Do you guys have anything you want to add?
I do.
As I've been,
Thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah.
oh, thank you. As I've been liaisoning different committees, they're all complaining, no one is, they're losing volunteers. Constantly, and I mean, some of these committees like beautification, see what they do in the park. They're losing their members and they're getting older. It's harder for them to do things. And I just would love to put something out there to YouTube, whoever's listening, to volunteer. We all own this park. And that's the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to try to make it better. I want to try to make it flourish and continue. And I wish everybody, I mean, I'm getting older just like everyone else, and some days are good, some days aren't so good. But I'm putting a plea out to please, anything you're interested in, please volunteer for something. It's only an hour or two, even if it's an hour a month, it's better than nothing.
A volunteer, why do you need a resume?
Yes.
It's a volunteer position.
Committee.
Pardon me?
Committees you don't.
Yes, you
Oh,
do.
yes, you do.
The last election committee, I was on the election committee for 5 years. And when one of the past presidents took over, you had to fill out a resume. And I said, I've been on it for 5 years, you still volunteers? Oh, yes. I said, forget it. If I get a volunteer, if I have to fill out a resume to volunteer, I'm not volunteering.
I think a list of committees
Look that
that
up.
are looking to volunteer.
Yes.
They're all looking.
That was
We
Debbie's.
don't know what.
Oh,
I don't know.
We should definitely put that on the website.
Okay, one at a time.
We're all saying the same thing.
We're all saying the same thing?
Yes.
Do you want to speak for everybody?
Sandy Lewis, we need like a list posted somewheres of the committees that are looking for volunteers. And a volunteer should not have to fill out a resume. I mean, and I heard, because I hear a lot of things, that people have volunteered for things and been turned down. You know, so we need to know what committees are out there and who's looking for volunteers to do what.
And who decides if you could be on that? Yeah.
Well, I would think that the chair of the committee would be the one that would decide on who's going to be on the committee. So,
Nothing to do with the board.
so what it should be is the different ones that are available,
And who
all of them, and who to contact.
Correct.
Okay? Okay, so I think that should be posted in the clubhouse over there on the, We can stick it on the website. Yeah, we can send it to the website. So we can put it on the website and we can put it right out here before you go out to the pool. There's a place out there that we can just pick it so you guys can have it. Oh, I don't want to put it out. They do? Where the criminals are? Where the criminals are.
Pictures are posted, put it right next to them. What are we gonna do?
Terry Johnson, Unit 1. Volunteers are hard to come by. I'm president of the men's club, and it's just like pulling teeth to get someone to come.
It is.
You know, anybody interested in the men's club, we would love to have you. We would love, if you can't walk, that's okay, we'll find you a sit down son. But things we put on aren't all that much, but we do need manpower to do it. You know, I'm up to using wives to fill in for members of the club.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a safe way.
I-
way to put it.
I'm glad that you rearranged that.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
I'm sure your wife appreciates that.
Oh, yeah.
You see, she laughed. No.
Yeah, but volunteers are hard to come by. And as far as volunteering for the board, who would do that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't want no part of that.
Thank you very much. I hear you there, and I can tell you that we put in several hours. It's not just something that we take lightly, but anytime, this is on YouTube and right here as well, anytime anybody wants to volunteer to help any of us, I'm sure that we would all be more than welcoming. So, we would appreciate it. Anything else?
Send an email out too.
About?
That you're looking for volunteers. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we can do that. We're gonna do an email and then we're gonna do, Sandy thinks that we should put it by the criminals out in the hallway.
That's right, everybody needs that. That's a great
We'll just
idea.
we'll make sure it's here in the clubhouse somewhere, okay?
Next to her picture.
Okay, so any other
Buy a page in the news and views.
Buy a page in the news and views.
Yeah, let's advertise in the news and views.
Bargaining for volunteers in the news and views. That's
Oh, look, a question from here.
I've wondered this, about the news and views. Does everyone feel like it has to be in this booklet form, first of all?
No.
Like if it's a few pages, printed pages that just tell you what's going on, what the clubs are doing, when they're doing it, that would suffice.
Yeah,
Okay, I've just
pages
been
of the
wondering.
calendar that tell you what's happening
There
in
you
the
go.
compound. It's all gotta be on
Yeah.
there, then that would be it. We don't need
Okay.
all those advertisements.
Okay.
That's fine just for what's here.
Yeah.
But the whole community won't get it.
Well, you could put a big poster board with the calendar on.
What do you mean the whole community
Right,
won't get it?
if we have it on our website, if we put out an email, in the email, I
Or even
mean,
if you just printed a hard copy.
and print a hard copy,
Like the news and views.
Yeah.
It cost you.
exactly.
They do have a calendar out in that hallway that's got everything. for the
Yeah.
month.
It's everything on it though.
Yes.
All 18.
People like to take it with them so
If
they
they
can
set
have
up,
it at
if
home.
they set up a room for you.
Yeah.
Put it on their fridge. Yeah, right.
Yeah, even if we print up those 4 pages, 5 pages, whatever it ends up being. Okay, I was just curious. Consensus. Mark Whitley and Sandy Hughes. Sandy Hughes comments that a management company was voted down 3 years ago. Mark Whitley says the management company was voted down by the board, not the residents. The board voted it down due to shenanigans.
No, shenanigans, that's not true.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that.
No, it's voted down.
It's a dead horse.
Yeah, that's a dead horse. It was voted down because it was.
It's all good, we're not going back.
And we did.
Two things. I believe if you knock off that booklet that comes out, me as a former businessman, you're gonna lose all the advertisers. If you just put out some little sheets to pass out
every single advertiser's gonna go, you gotta be kidding.
What do we need
Okay.
the advertising for?
It's not costing you anything. The booklet's not costing you anything. Somebody's time is all it's costing you. The advertisers pay for that booklet. So if you get rid of that booklet, you're gonna get rid of all those advertisers, those business people that come in here and possibly give us discounts and stuff because we're in Brookridge. You're gonna lose every one of those. I just about guarantee it. Number two, I saw somewhere that people were looking for volunteers. I was told I needed to put an application in at the office.
Right.
I put an application in at the office. That's 2 months ago. I never heard spit. I never heard go spit in your hat, go dump it somewhere. I never heard anything. So much for me volunteering.
Right, correct.
Okay, so we'll track down your volunteer paper, and I think we'll take care of that because we'll make sure that it's posted everywhere. Your name is? Robert Marcus.
Rules and regs.
Rules and regs. Okay, so that one.
Do you mind spelling your last name?
Emerson Michael. Okay. ROS next name.
Okay, any more questions, concerns? Going once, twice? We're adjourned.
Good reading.
Thank you. It was very good. Oh, they're already, but that's not, they're not irate about it. They're irate.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about